Morning, everybody.
Good morning, Rabbi.
This week's parsha has told us, the parsha starts off, Ela told us, Avram Hoilides Yitzchak. So it's explained that Yitzchak looked like Avram looked like Yitzchak. There was a certain comparison. Each one admired the other one. Each one praised the other one. But there's something that's very interesting, that it says that Yitzchak looked like Avram. Well, usually a child looks like their parents. There's usually a competition when the kid is born. Who does the kid look like? The mother's parents, or from the mother's side, the father's side. One is telling you the ears, the eyes, the nose. It becomes a whole, till finally one day they figure it out. Or, there's always a combination. But there's this always, it's natural to have that the children look like their parents. So what's the big deal here that Yitzchak looked like Avram? So the explanation is, just like when you see people in a room, everybody looks different. So it's not just that they look different because they look different, but there's also the tchunas, the person's character traits and the personality and who they are and their makeup and everything is different. And based on that, the face also shares that with the outside world, if you know how to read people's faces. So Avram was known as an Isha Chesed, a person that was very kind. He went out of his way to help people, and that was his connection to the outside world. Yitzchak, on the other hand, was very, very strict, to the point that by him everything was very holy and he didn't give in on anything. So the character traits and the approach was totally different. So by nature, it only makes sense that they should not look alike. And in general also, you can see when a person is kind, it's more of a softer face. When a person is more judgmental, they more have a stiff face. So we don't have to elaborate on that. But it's you can see it right away. So the by nature, it seemed that they were supposed to look different. So what did Hashem do? Hashem made Yitzchak look like Avram, that people should not say that Sarah had a child with somebody else, because Sarah ended up in Egypt and she ended up by Avimelech. So you can come up with stories. So Hashem made it very clear that you should see that Yitzchak is Avram's son. Now Hashem has two options. He could change Yitzchak to look like Avram. He could change Avram a little bit to look like Yitzchak. So here we see something interesting. Hashem chose to take the strength, the judgment, and change it into kindness, rather than take the kindness and move it over to judgment. And this is something that is important for us to also learn, that when you have the two options, to be judgmental or to be kind, choose the kind side. Unless you till you actually know 100% proven guilty, keep him innocent till he's guilty. Give him, keep it on that side. It's also interesting in the Hasidic world. You'll see that, first of all, the Hasidim, they have their own garb that they wear. Now, the garb that they wear is custom made, or at least it's made for them. So by them, they always have right over left. The long garb that they have is right over left. Right over left is usually, women have right over left, and the men have left over right when you close the button. But the Hasidim, they have always right over left. Why? Because you want the chesed, they want the kindness to overpower the judgment. So there was a couple of times where somebody came to the Rebbe that he was having problems with parnaso, he was having challenges with the livelihood, with the job. The Rebbe asked him, do you button right over left or left over right? He told the Rebbe, I button left over right. So the Rebbe said, change. Do it the other way. You'll see how your mazel changes. So from a Kabbalistic approach, there are even little things that we can do in our lives that kind of move us over from judgment to chesed. Hashem should help. We should be judged with kindness. We should judge others with kindness. And we should do only kindness. And we should be zeicha to the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu Meheru Amenu V'Noimar. Amen.